Ghetto Flower. We are here with Ausar. It's nice to finally have you in here to chop it up. And
I'm glad that we finally got it set up.
yeah. We get down to business. Really get down to business, my guy. But so we start the interviews just by asking just a simple question. So what made you want to start rapping?
I don't know. I think I always have kind of had a love for music. Rap, though, wasn't something I got into until after my mom got married. One of my older stepbrothers that, like, I'm really, really close to was super into hip-hop, super into rap in general. And I remember when we would get bored, like, Muggs would kind of sit in the basement, sit and write and see who had the better verse. And, like, it was just something we did. And I think that turned into me really having a love and an appreciation for rap, and it made me like want to take it more seriously. But it wasn't until I got to college where I actually started like pursuing music, and that was because I joined this organization called Word on U of I's campus. Stands for Writers Organizing Realistic Dialect, and I was in a concert they had at the beginning of the year. And after I performed, everybody was like, you should probably take it a little more seriously. And so I ran with it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So early on, like, what were your influences, like, when you were in the basement, like, writing raps?
Yeah. Honestly, bro, it was a really decent mix. I'm low-key going to tell you all something I don't think I've brought up in an interview before. And I don't know why I always...
Drop
I don't know why I always neglect this, bro. But, like, so... the names that everybody would know, of course, like Muggs. My favorite rapper of all time is Common. Common is my favorite rapper. But during the time period I got into rap, like I was listening to Common, Lupe, Kanye, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, like that whole cohort. But at the same time, my formative years of music in general all came from gospel. Like I wasn't even allowed to listen to rap when I was a shorty, so it was like. My first introduction to rap that I could listen to around the crib was gospel rap. So Muggs was listening to like Lecrae, and he has a label called Reach Records, and like so Tadashi, Andy Mineo, like that whole sector, and then a whole bunch of real underground gospel rappers that I know don't nobody know unless you was really listening to gospel rap. But yeah, those were like some of my earliest influences in rap. Yeah.
So that pretty much structured.
Yeah, most definitely. I think in a couple of ways, it's weird with gospel rap. I feel like gospel rap was cool when I was a shorty, but as I got older, I moved away from it, mostly because a lot of it is very one-faceted, and I think there's a way to talk about what you believe in without being like so one-track minded with it. I don't think there's really any difference between like how am I trying to say this? If you listen to Kendrick's last album, right?
Yeah.
Kendrick touches on a lot of topics discussing like spirituality and what he believes in, but it's not in an off-putting way. Right. And it's mostly because it's very conversational. It's very, this is what I believe, and like I'm delving into it. I think with gospel rap, a lot of times they try to overcompensate, and that's what throws people off. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, definitely.
So because of that and because of what influenced me, it was like, of course, I always want to stick true to what I believe in, you know what I'm saying? But I want to do it in a way that's digestible, that's true to me and isn't me forcing it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I just want to talk life.
Do you think there could be like a crossover rapper that could actually like, you know, uphold both of those things? Do you think there will ever be a time where that could, you know, come into place?
Yeah, I do. I think it's interesting because Chance kind of paved the way in some ways for the mainstream. Outside of Lecrae, because Lecrae was the first gospel rapper to actually make mainstream noise. Right. Chance kind of took the mantelpiece of it to a degree, but I think that was a little different. That was a little different. But I do think there's a space for it. It's not much difference. It's just about being a holistic artist. Like if the art is where it needs to be and you are hitting people and like it's resonating, then there's a space for it.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So, with all those influences that you got, you know, early on, like, and then when you started building like your career in college, like, when did you really hit that point, like, you know, I'm working with something, like, you know, I might be nice at this?
I think there were like two separate instances where I felt that way. I think when I first started when I first released my first project, which was the 6-page letter, and seeing the response that got, that kind of set the tone for me where I was like, okay, we might for real be working with something.
And around what time was it?
That was in 2016.
2016.
Yeah, that was in 2016. December 28th, 2016. And then I think again towards my senior year, because during that in-between time, trying to juggle school, and I was working as an RA, and like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Ooh.
It was only because that was the only way I was paying for housing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, in between all of that, like, my release on music was super slow. But the resurgence for me happened towards my senior year, where it seemed like everything was falling into place at the same time. Like, the rhythm and flow thing happened. Yeah, I got a chance to be on Rhythm and Flow the first season. And then I had gone to South by Southwest with Wyclef. I got to perform at this really big festival out in Champaign called Pygmalion. Like, everything was just happening all around the same time, and it was like, all right, things are picking up. So those are the two moments where I was just like, I think I'm on the right track.
Yeah. So how was working with Wyclef? How was that?
Super dope, bro. The music industry is one of those things where, like, I hear all the time how it can be really hard to come across people who genuinely, like, care and want to see you succeed, and like are genuinely going to be in your corner. And I've had times in the past where there were people who I looked up to musically, where I don't want to say they made promises, but they had kind of made some comments where it was just like, we're going to stick with you, we're going to work with you, blah, blah, blah. Like, and a lot of times that just kind of falls through the cracks.
100% right.
Yeah. Wyclef is one of those people who has truly been a mentor and has been there every step of the way. And like, when he said he was there to be a resource, has been a resource since I've met him. It's nothing for me to just hit him and be like, yo, can I talk to you for a second, and him make time and like make that happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was a dope experience for that, but it's also a dope experience because like I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting back watching from an industry perspective and from an artistry perspective, seeing how he does things whenever I'm in a room and watching how things go down. It's funny because when you get to a certain level, things kind of just become autopilot, and seeing that in real time is just crazy.
Yeah, that's hella dope, man. Shout out Wyclef. He just had a feature, right, with
Vic and Chance.
Yeah, that shit was hard too. Yeah,
it was very hard.
Real shout out Wyclef. But as a side note, I'm bringing another legend. I seen that Ninth Wonder. He reposted one of your songs, man. Like, and that hit me, bro.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that hit me because Ninth Wonder, like, that's my idol, like, for real. Like, how did that feel when, he hit you with the repost?
It was crazy. It happened through Clubhouse, actually. Like, so here's what happened.
Shout out Clubhouse.
Shout out Clubhouse. Yeah.
We promote Clubhouse.
No, one of my homies made a room. Shoot, what room was it? I think it was a Kendrick versus Cole room. On Clubhouse. And Muggs,
dangerous.
Yeah, Muggs was just in there talking, G. Yeah, Muggs was just in there talking, and like, I'm trying to remember what happened. She started it. It was my homie Armani Day. If you all aren't familiar, Armani Day is a really, really dope artist as well. You all should check her out. But yeah, so she started the room. I hop in. We just kind of politicking. Muggs popping in and out, and then somebody pops in, and I'm looking at the name, and it was. At the time, it was Ninth's government name. And so I'm looking and I was just like, that's not who I think it is. I'm just going about. And then I look again, I was like, bro. So I hear her separately. I was like, geez, is Ninth Wonder in this room?
Right.
And she looked and she was like, yes. So Muggs added him on the stage and he was just kind of giving his opinion and feedback. And we talked in there for like an hour and a half, bro.
Oh, man.
So after the room was over, because in the room at one point he was like, I basically listen to everything that comes to me, like I always do. So I was like, oh, okay. So after it was over, I hit him in the DM. I was like, yeah, I was one of the moderators in that chat. Like, I just dropped a project. I just want to know what you think. And he hit me back. He was like, whole project was dope. Hive is the one. Woo. Cool.
Oh.
Like, I was just like, I appreciate you. I just happened to go look at his story and he posted it. I was like, gee, what? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild right there.
Yeah, so that was a crazy feeling.
Yeah, off of the clubhouse.
Off of a clubhouse room.
That is insane, man. Woo.
Real quick, what do you think about Clubhouse and like the hype that the app's been getting like recently? Have you found it useful as an artist?
Yeah, it's been useful for networking. I think that it is no longer as useful for networking because it's become very convoluted and people are using it for different reasons now.
There's scammers on there.
Yeah. But have you all seen Twitter Spaces?
No.
All right, so Twitter has their own version of Clubhouse. They just started beta testing. I finally have gotten access to the beta joint.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so like if you look at some point tonight, I'm low-key gonna go on there just to do it. But if you look at the top where the stories are, sometimes there are like these purple bubbles that be up there, and that's somebody who started like a Twitter Spaces meeting. And anybody who wants to pop in can. It's a free open forum. It's literally just like Clubhouse.
Oh my god.
So I've been on there once. I'm gonna pop in again tonight and see if I can do something. I'm trying to figure out how to be more creative with it and use it for the community. But
that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I mean, people listen to you too for sure. Like you got something to say and like hear different opinions and shit. Like
word.
And like you said, networking is dope.
Word.
Yeah. But on the same pages of networking, like when did you form OurNet? When did you guys all get together? Like,
okay.
Because I just seen Karali. He's real. You know, he's definitely close to us, and he was actually the first person I ever interviewed.
Really?
I seen his shit just go up yesterday. So every time I see him win, man, and every time I see y'all win, like we really love that shit. So when did that come about?
It's interesting. Those are all the homies, and the first official meeting for everybody was at the job I currently work at. We had training, right? We had training in like July of 2019. July 2019. And they got me this hotel room downtown where we were having the training at. And I was just like, I should make the most of the space. So I literally invited all the homies, because I stay in Madison. So I'm like, I'm usually out the way. Right now I'm here for a week and we got a central location everybody can link at. Right. So I was just like, everybody pull up, bring y'all stuff, we're gonna work over here. Cool. All the homies pull up and everybody just kind of meshed together well. It was just like, everybody in this room kind of has their own fan base. Everybody has their own thing they doing and they making their own strides. And it was just like, I know everybody has their own collectives they working with. This is just kind of a group for us to come together and make stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it all worked out. Like, I think everybody is dope. Everybody can hold their own and have their own platform, and we work well together. So it was just dope to see.
Yeah, hell yeah. Because I think we first heard about it, you know, like a year ago talking to Karali when we interviewed him for a second time. And like he was telling us about it, and I was just telling him like, yeah, bro, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That shit sound dope. And you know, as it keeps going on, it keeps getting better and better. So I just can't wait to see, you know, how y'all be looking, you know, next year and the year after that, bro. So that's
a good point too. Like, y'all all making strides. Like we recently linked up with like Isaiah and Aaron, and like they had nothing but good things to say about all of y'all in the collective. Like
I only have bad things to say about Isaiah and Aaron, so that's interesting.
Yeah, no, we had a good interview with them too. Like they put us on a lot of game and like told us how y'all work and like some of y'all producers, some of y'all lyricists, some of y'all artists, and like y'all sort of come together and combine.
Yeah, I mean we work with whatever time that we have. Muggs just kind of throw stuff in the chat. If you need features here, it's like, all right, bam, we gonna work. Every so often we have studio sessions where we all come together, get stuff done. We got a whole lot of demos. Soon we trying to finish up some of these demos and get them rolling. But
are y'all thinking like, you know, maybe like a collab tape for, you know, the whole outing that, or I don't want to spill the beans, but is that something, you know, we could possibly see in the future?
It's in the works.
For sure.
It's in the works.
I think that would be great for the city, for sure.
Yeah, I do too. I think we haven't really seen no real collectives in a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think in terms of major movements in the recent past, like they've all been off collectives in one way or another. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Y'all on to something for sure.
I would love to see an old school mixtape, man. Like, drop that shit only on that piff, bro. I would love to see some shit like that.
That'll low-key be fire the whole time.
Honestly, I would love to see some shit like that. But kind of going back to that whole rhythm and flow situation, do you ever see yourself like ever going into any other like competitions or anything like that?
I have 2 funny stories for you. Pick a number 1 or 2.
But we'll try 2.
Okay, 2 is American Idol. So I actually got picked to audition for American Idol. One of their casting producers hit me, and I was like, bro, this is a terrible idea. I can sing a little bit, but I can't sing like that. And he was like, I know, but we're moving in a different direction. We're looking to expand, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. I came through for the one-on-one audition. They hit me the day later. He was like, yeah, they loved your rapping ability. They felt like the singing could use a little more work. It was like, you literally just wasted everyone's time because I told you that. I told you that from the jump.
Who did you perform in front of? Like,
no, it was the casting producers. It wasn't any other celebrity judges. So like, usually there's a vetting process before you even get to that point.
right.
And I basically was just in the vetting process of.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. They got a hold of you.
Yeah, that was.
Interesting.
And then the other thing was I actually Quiet as Kept was. I'm sure I can probably say that now. I was in the process of re-auditioning for Rhythm and Flow for this upcoming season, and had gotten basically almost to the point that I had gotten last time, but COVID happened. Literally the day of my last audition, the day after that everything shut down.
Damn.
So that was just kind of that. But I think that was low-key also kind of a sign. I don't think I need to. I think I've proved my point. I think also God has kind of been making a lot of ways and showing me that I don't necessarily need that to elevate. Like I can do it without a game show. Or not a game show, but a competition show.
Yeah, not at all. Cause shit, if people heard that project you just dropped, they don't know, bro. They don't know. So we
Appreciate
about to
you, bro.
get into that right now, bro.
Yeah.
So let's break down your project, Flight of the Honeybee. So what's like the meaning behind it? Cause like honestly, bro, the structure of that shit and like the guy talking between the skits between the songs, just everything was perfect, bro.
Creative
The way it was
direction,
laid out, creative direction, cover art, merch. Everything was laid out perfect, bro. So
Appreciate you.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, Flight of the Honeybee is basically using bees as a metaphor for a marginalized group of people. I think a lot of times people look at bees as kind of these aggressive creatures that, don't really do much for the world around us, when in actuality, even on a basic level, if bees were to go extinct, 1/3 of the food that we eat no longer exists, and how they're just so essential to the world that we live in. You even talk about how like bees are exploited and the things that they make are used for consumption for communities that are not their own. When you talk about stuff like honey, and when you take those same concepts and apply them to like the Black experience in America, it's like there were just so many similarities for me in that. And I just kind of chose to expound on it for the entirety of the project. I think the intro track for me was what sparked everything else. Cause I got that joint from my homie Emmy. Shout out Emmy. Emmy is also a part of Outernet.
Yes, I never went to
Yeah, Outernet is actually heavy on that project, low key. But Emmy sent me that joint over, and it reminded me of springtime. It also reminded me of this classical piece called "Flight of the Bumblebee," and so I just kind of wrote from that perspective. And the original song was about me like getting back to the crib, having a buzz, like and like what it is I stand for when it comes to music and things of that nature. But after finishing it, I was just like, there's a lot more to expound on. So yeah. And the rollout was this is by far the most extensive rollout I've ever had. And I'd be wrong to take credit for it all by myself. because it was very much a team effort.
Yeah,
My-
play a part in it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, like my manager Will, and Shawnee. Usually, I'm the type of person where when I finish music, I want to put it out right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't drop till October. I was done with this whole project in like June. Yeah. So it was like that next 4 months was just like, okay, it's done, but how do we make this a moment? Like, let's get this merch together. Let's figure out what we doing in terms of like interviews and just everything that surrounds it, right? Will reached out to a designer. His name is Andre Ducci. The man is from Italy. We because originally the direction I wanted for the project was I was like, I want this to feel like a comic book.
Yeah.
And so literally we did put together a comic strip for it. But also we looked up designers who like had that look and feel, and we found him, and it was just like, wow, this is perfect. Like the whole experience start to finish was just crazy. And I learned a lot from it. I learned a whole lot from the experience of putting this joint together.
Yeah, hell yeah, you could apply it to the next one. Keep
Yeah,
definitely,
multiply.
exactly. Keep going on it and keep making it bigger and bigger, man.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think is like the highlights of like dropping that project? Like, what is the biggest moments like out of dropping that?
Well, first it was just the initial response. This is the first project I dropped in 3 years, so it's like just seeing people really rock with it after 3 years and gravitate towards it the way that they did felt really good.
Yeah.
I think getting that Ninth Wonder cosign was also a super huge thing for me. I think it also opened a lot of doors for me in terms of people who I've been wanting to work with. And it'll be very reflective in the next coming drops that I have. Just kind of some of the doors it's open, because I feel like there was a real elevation. Like I think Flight of the Honeybee is now the baseline of kind of the stuff I wanted to offer.
Yeah.
And for the next few months, like you'll be able to kind of see some of the growth that it offered to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. What other highlights did I have? I think the merch was really, really cool in terms of a highlight too, because
The commercial.
yeah, that was fun. That was fun. But yeah, it got such a great response, and I don't know, I was scared because this was the most merch we'd ever bought to be released.
Right.
Because I think we got 150 pieces, and I think we have like maybe 20 pieces left at this point. So
Good.
yeah,
Good. Make some money, man. Make some money.
yeah.
But I love that Ninth Wonder reposted Hive, because I'm telling you, bro, for some reason I play that song first and I play the whole track list over. so I play that song twice every time I listen.
Word.
Because I'm telling you, that song is the one, bro. It's for real the one.
It's interesting, bro. I have a conversation with my homies very frequently about like how am I trying to say it? What's defined as like a hit, or what will resonate with the masses the most. And it's interesting to me because there are songs on Flight of the Honeybee that are specifically catered to like I want this to resonate. I want this to be the one that like kind of garners the most attention. I think this will resonate with the most people. And it's funny because Hive, so there are multiple reasons why Hive being the one that performed the best is very funny to me. One is because Hive is one of the songs where like that's not made to be no type of like I guess if you want to call it like a hit. It's not made or structured in a way like that at all. It's just me venting and like being vulnerable. Second reason it's very funny that people gravitate to it so heavy is because the first part of that song was from like 2016, 2017.
Wow, really?
The first half of that song was written in like 2017. And the second half of that song was written in late 2019. None of them were written to be on Flight of the Honeybee. It was just a joint that I had saved up. And as I was finishing the project, I was just like, this fits. This works super well at the end of this project. And it just worked out.
Wow, that's wild, man. I would have never thought that, honestly.
Because when it's from 2017, bro.
Ooh, because the way you was floating on that shit,
Appreciate you.
Because I was about to come in here and ask you, really break down the lyrics and, you know, really ask you about the lyrics, but there's just so much, bro. There's just so much. I just got to talk to you about the song. I can't even break it down to you. But I just love the way that you honestly floated on all those songs. And
I appreciate
it's for real, as a cohesive project, it's honestly like one of the best things I heard in a while. Like, no
Thank
cap,
you.
bro. No cap. But what do you have like coming up, you know, next, bro?
Yeah.
I seen you had a feature with
Jay
Wood, bro.
Yeah.
That shit was nice. I like it. I like his project, man.
That man.
I like what he's putting out, man. I like what he's putting out, definitely.
You know how you like, I don't know, I think of like people I would least like to get into rap beefs with. And Jay Wood is kind of more so at the top of that list. Mostly because, like, of course Jay Wood can rap, but whatever, like, he puts out, like, he was making a diss track, it's gonna be in the club for the next 5 years. And, like, now I have to listen to you, you disrespect me for the next 5 years when I'm out at Applebee's with my family. It's like, but Jay Wood
Applebee's,
But no, in terms of stuff that I got next coming out, we got a few singles that we dropping. I'm working towards releasing my album towards the end of this year. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it is what it is. And what else? I mean, we got a lot of content dropping this year as well.
Definitely.
Just trying to keep people engaged and continue the momentum. We gave Flight of the Honeybee a little time to breathe. It dropped at the end of October. We getting into March now, so it's about time to start rolling stuff back out again.
I feel you. So are you planning on going anywhere or traveling this time around?
Yeah, I definitely am. Part of the reason my album didn't drop last year is just because of COVID. Like, Flight of the Honeybee was actually a In the Meantime project. We started on that in March and finished it by June. And it was just because you're not putting out your album this year because you can't tour, you can't go do anything, you can't have shows. So it's like, why continue to work on the album right now when you can put out something to still garner a response and then get back to the album later when it's closer to like a time where you can actually do stuff surrounding it.
Yeah,
so assuming that towards the end of this year we start being able to pop out a little bit more, we'll probably start moving back in that direction.
I feel you. Do you have any other collabs tucked?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think. A lot of stuff with just a lot of the homies. And I'm working on. We here now. I'm working on this thing called Me and My Friends, which is just kind of a series of interviews, music, visual content that's just with the homies around me. It's kind of a not a rebrand, but there was something I did in college called Me and My Friends where I would put on events around campus with just me and the homies, and everybody would pull up and it would be a good time. So kind of taking that same concept and applying it here. We're gonna start rolling that out again.
That's dope,
Yeah.
man. I can't wait to see it. Cause definitely like outside of your music, you're definitely an interesting person and very funny. So with all your
I
tweets and
appreciate
shit,
you.
bro.
You're always going viral.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't wait to see what else you put together. Cause there's definitely some more you could be doing. Just than writing raps. You dig? So
Absolutely.
But is there anything else you got in the works going on, or
Man. Honestly, outside of working with the Me and My Friends thing and then trying to finish this album up, because I really just want to be done with this album. I've been working on it for a long time, but we get into the tail end of it. So that is my main focus, my main goal. Ironically enough, at the beginning of June, I am officially making the switch to music as like my full time.
Ooh,
Big congrats.
I appreciate
big,
you,
man. For real.
Thank you.
Big.
So once that happens, we'll see. What
We'll see what happens, man.
the blessings up to you, man. I hope
Appreciate you,
everything goes great. I hope we could for real see you on the big stage one day.
I hope so too.
And I'll be playing your shit. Until you get there, bro. But we appreciate you. Got any other questions, bro?
Nah, that was it, man. That's all. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate y'all having me,
on that, bro. Appreciate you.
Love.